So I was told. And why are we moving here? Because this place is secluded. And people came out of their houses. And I know that it was planned by them to attack it, to attack the recordings. Venus went to the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation asked to intervene on Earth after it was attacked, and someone appeared next to me, beside me. I mean, way behind me, but I believe it was an image inserted behind, but it was pretty real. It was a person in a white robe over here. It appeared and disappeared. Okay. Now these birds pass by really fast. Venus went to the Galactic Federation. It's all distractions also, so I don't tell the story. Venus went to the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation went to Universal Government. Universal Government and Universal Laws that protect all the worlds in the galaxy and in the universe. Universal Government is above the galaxy. Universal Law said they could not intervene with the developing will of a civilization or with the free will of our civilization. Although it was, indeed, under attack by reptiles. And it had been invaded, right? Which is what was done. But if it was not, if people did not intervene, the light that is creation and creation itself, and the light that is God, that people see when they die, and the near-death experience, the extraterrestrials call, and here's the word for God, at the world at large, outside of Earth and the galactic community, and outside of the galaxy. He is called, as he is called in the light when people die. He is called the One, because they are all one. When people die and go into the light, they become one being that is in the form of a galaxy. It's the gravitational weight that was left behind after the Big Bang. The core material of the object in the beginning, the star, which was a big multidimensional star, was left behind with its gravitational weight, pulling all the energy along its frequency back into itself. And the weight of gravity is a spiral. So a spiral formed around the spot where the one exploded. All matter was together as one being in the beginning, and it will be again. The gravity left behind from the Big Bang created a spiral or a singularity. A singularity is like a black hole. It's a black hole, by the way. And all the energy returning to that spot, to that singularity, makes it look like a large, bright light. And when people die, if people go past the light, they report seeing this being that is in the shape of a galaxy, and every star is a spark or soul that has returned. And there's billions of sparks, trillions around that point. The fabric of time and space expanded in the shape of a sphere, and we're on the surface of the sphere. The pores at the center of our galaxy lead all the way to the center of the sphere, which is the light that is God. The energy is there at the source. They call it the source as well. And what is God and the One and the source look like? It's a spiral with a big bright center, which is the One, a quasar. Its material left behind, there was the core of the multidimensional star that exploded, and the souls all around it. There's different frequencies and different lights. The closer people get to God, the closer they move from the edge of the spiral to the center. And all the different frequencies, millions and millions of colors, more than the colors that you see here, are present. People are sparks that broke up from the Big Bang is a story that comes from far above. The sparks incarnate in the heart. When the heart oscillates on love, light and frequency comes from the universe, and as more and more light gathers, the frequency goes higher, and the light gathers inside of the body in the shape of a body, shaped by its field. And there goes Odin the Raven. It's really a pigeon they're using. Oh, by the way, those gods are already dead. They live for 2,000 years on average. Venusians and Pleiadians report this in their own abductions, and it also contains the UFO in question, the big cylinder with crews from all of the galaxy. To give an example, the generation that was born when Jesus was born and died, already died in the year 2000. So this is a new. So these are people that were born in the Middle Ages and in medieval times. That is what I suspect. And they're 200 years old. They were born when America was right after it was founded. I told you they do that. If they were born 1,000 years ago, they might have come and seen the development of Western Europe and the Western civilization. A lot of the extraterrestrials here claim that they were the angels that George Washington would see in visions, which included him being paralyzed and seeing people that were identical to humans but beautiful and perfect coming from far above. They gave George Washington visions of the future, of what America would be like, of the Civil War, and that was extraterrestrial technology, which explains the visions of George Washington. And I believe the stars on the American flag are definitely a reference or a hidden message, because these people say they created America. They didn't create it, but they were in the fourth dimension, invisible around George Washington. So they oversaw it. And people can also be controlled like the Watchers from the fourth dimension, like avatars. And we're going to get to that, because they were present during the creation. Alright, so I moved to my front yard. Here are some cats, look. This is how the next scene starts. This car is not mine. Uncle leaves it here. Now, let's go to a secluded area. This belongs to the neighbors. Not mine. This is the neighborhood. I wish I should have done video blogs before, because the UFOs and the alien activity can actually pass by while it attacks me, so I can document it. Look at being attacked by the Norse gods turning into ravens, but it's just them controlling animals. And here's a big mothership passing by, drawing the sky. Oh wow. But it's not as fun as someone would think. Look at that. All these are little animals. And they're all... And I hope they're left alone. I hope they're not controlled. This shows more of the colors, but it's probably too dark. Usually brightness is better no matter what for showing information. Here comes... What? No. Yeah, right there. Here are more birds. They already flew away. Alright, so here's what happens. So we're gonna get a view of the neighborhood while I talk to the camera, like a video blog. It's a nice place, but I will not miss it under these circumstances. I'd be constantly attacked by the space aliens. These are cactuses. Yeah, that means higher light. This area is very bright. So I wonder if something will pass by. Besides that, here's nature. So here's what I was told by all this weird activity. And here's some cats. So I was told. And why are we moving here? Because this place is secluded. And people came out of their houses. And I know that it was planned by them to attack it, to attack the recordings. Venus went to the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation asked to intervene on Earth after it was attacked, and someone appeared next to me, beside me. I mean, way behind me, but I believe it was an image inserted behind, but it was pretty real. It was a person in a white robe over here. It appeared and disappeared. Okay. Now these birds pass by really fast. Venus went to the Galactic Federation. It's all distractions also, so I don't tell the story. Venus went to the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation went to Universal Government. Universal Government and Universal Laws that protect all the worlds in the galaxy and in the universe. Universal Government is above the galaxy. Universal Law said they could not intervene with the developing will of a civilization or with the free will of our civilization. Although it was indeed under attack by reptiles and it had been invaded, right? Here's what was done. But if it was not intervened, if people did not intervene, the light that is creation and creation itself, and the light that is God that people see when they die in the near-death experience, the extraterrestrials call, and here's the word for God at the world at large, outside of Earth and the galactic community, and outside of the galaxy. He is called, as he is called in the light when people die. He is called the One, because they are all one. When people die and go into the light, they become one being that is in the form of a galaxy. It's the gravitational weight that was left behind after the Big Bang. The core material of the object in the beginning, the star, which was a big multi-dimensional star, was left behind with its gravitational weight pulling all the energy along its frequency back into itself. And the weight of gravity is a spiral, so a spiral formed around the spot where the One exploded. All matter was together as one being in the beginning, and it will be again. The gravity left behind from the Big Bang created a spiral or a singularity. A singularity is like a black hole. It's a black hole, by the way. And all the energy returning to that spot, to that singularity, makes it look like a large, bright light when people die. If people go past the light, they report seeing this being that is in the shape of a galaxy, and every star is a spark or soul that has returned. And there's billions of sparks, trillions. Around that point, the fabric of time and space expanded in the shape of a sphere, and we're on the surface of the sphere. The pores at the center of our galaxy lead all the way to the center of the sphere, which is the light that is God. The energy is there at the source. They call it the source as well. And what is God and the One and the source look like? It's a spiral with a big bright center, which is the One, a quasar. Its material left behind, there was the core of the multidimensional star that exploded, and the souls all around it. There's different frequencies and different lights. The closer people get to God, the closer they move from the edge of the spiral to the center. And all the different frequencies, millions and millions of colors, more than the colors that you see here, are present. People are sparks that broke up from the Big Bang is a story that comes from far above. The sparks incarnate in the heart. When the heart oscillates on love, light, and frequency comes from the universe, And as more and more light gathers, the frequency goes higher. And the light gathers inside of the body in the shape of a body, shaped by its field. And there goes Odin the Raven. It's really a pigeon they're using. Oh, by the way, those gods are already dead. They live for 2,000 years on average. Venusians and Pleiadians, report this in their own abductions, and it also contains the UFO in question. The big cylinder with crews from all of the galaxy. To give an example, the generation that was born when Jesus was born and died, already died in the year 2000. So this is a new. So these are people that were born in the Middle Ages and in medieval times. That is what I suspect. And they're 200 years old. They were born when America was right after it was founded. I told you they do that. If they were born 1,000 years ago, they might have come and seen the development of Western Europe and the Western civilization. A lot of the extraterrestrials here claim that they were the angels that George Washington would see in visions, which included him being paralyzed and seeing people that were identical to humans but beautiful and perfect coming from far above. They gave George Washington visions of the future, of what America would be like, of the Civil War, and that was extraterrestrial technology, which explains the visions of George Washington. And I believe the stars on the American flag are definitely a reference or a hidden message, because these people say they created America. They didn't create it, but they were in the fourth dimension, invisible around George Washington. So they oversaw it. And people can also be controlled like the Watchers from the fourth dimension, like avatars. And we're going to get to that, since they were present during the creation. Alright. So since they were present during the creation of America as the divine providence that guided the American Revolution and created this new Israel, which is what America really is, because it is guided by the same forces as extraterrestrials. Some people think they're gods, they're angels. Really, they're just people from far away. They lived for 2,000 years. They were born in third dimensional worlds that developed fourth dimensional travel, space travel, and fifth dimensional travel. Fifth dimensional travel, and the fifth dimension is above the fourth dimension. To give you an idea of how that relates to you and your concept of the universe. No, they say they want to talk to me, but that will attack me a lot. I can tell you. Hey, look at this. Look, these kinds of things are alien. Where you go, you feel like you're just walking by yourself, but where you go, you end up at a really good scene or something that's meaningful. For instance, I ended up right in front of the scene. There we go. So here's a good place to shoot. And here's another cat. Very small cat. I feel a cool breeze, you can see right here. So these are little cats. They climb there like ninjas on their piece of wood and timber. I think they're shinobis. I think it's a reference to that, because the aliens know everything in my life. And there's these people. These aliens are kind of freaky when you think about it. To think that there's people who have been here in the fourth dimension, just watching people, humans, live and die for 400 years, as what they call watchers, where they literally just follow you in the fourth dimension all your life, and then they move on to the next person like that. People that they guide. And by the way, they do for everything bad in the life to remain impartial. It's kind of like invisible stalkers. But they must be really passive people at the same time, and no matter how stellar their being should be, since, you know, they've been here for like 400 years following people and not doing anything else. So it's like, wow, you are weird. I got that on you. I'm not sure what they are, but there's a finger on my shoulder. It's always bothering me. There's always an invisible hand on my shoulder from a watcher. Watchers have 3 fingers. Why? Because they cannot be positive and it's in contact, so it's in contact being bad and not being wanted by me. So they always keep this invisible hand on my right shoulder. It doesn't matter where I am. And it's this 4-foot tall watcher, a gray alien. The first time that happened, I called the gray alien blue because he used to flash sparks of blue light in the eyes and flashes of blue light. So I was like, oh, okay, you're called Blue. And I used to tell Blue, press your finger down to say yes, press it sideways to say no. So I developed communication just from that in binary. Here's the dog. Dogs always do that. They move towards you, but they go out of view of the camera, so it's better that it stays away. Much better that you stay away. Okay. And I wish I could say that to the space aliens. And I do, and they do not leave. Anyway, here's what happened. Someone's attacking. And that was an attack too. If I continue to keep talking or doing something that's linked to them while someone else witnesses, because what they do, they go and they put the instruments, the lower energy, or do something terrible to the person's internal parts, and they attack to remain impartial. And that's why I don't want to expose people at all to them. And by the way, look. This was the sign. It starts from up here. From up here and it goes all the way down here. Here. Now, when you zoom in, you need a brighter ISO. Brighter ISO. Here. There you go. It's meant to look like it crash landed. Did you hear that sound in the distance over there? That came from it? They made someone hit something hard. And they do this on purpose. Sometimes when I would go outside to tell the UFOs things, a bird passed by over there. There would be gunshots, and they weren't telling me at first that they were doing it. People that they control over the border. This is 3 streets above the border. And I need to focus on the foreground and around. They would make them to shoot stuff. And eventually they started to attack me. Then later I was told many months later, like 1 year after they had appeared, oh, that was us. But they didn't say it like that. It became obvious to me from how much they were attacking me to remain impartial, because they cannot be positive with humans over the big non-interventionist policy. And that takes us back to where we were. They want to talk, but I won't let them because they will attack me, and it's really just to attack me to create an opening to prove that they're impartial to the universal law. So, that was interrupted very suspiciously. They can stop the camera, and I know. That's stop on its own. Let's fix it on the cats. This guy's a fence walker. Okay, so here's what happened. The Galactic Federation went to universal government, which is above many galaxies, and the galaxies linked into it. Universal government has what's called universal law, and universal government said they had to comply with universal law, which protects developing civilizations. It says free will is the highest right given by the Creator, and all civilizations must choose their own course of action on their own. And here comes more people. So I'm going to move. So here's what happened. They cannot interfere with the free will of a developing civilization, nor interfere with the course of action of humankind, but it had been invaded by reptilians. So, big problem. Here's how they solved it. There was no possible way that they could allow Earth to fall into reptilian control. The reptilians do not obey universal law, and they had intervened. They broke the interventionist policy, and that is the law that they had rebelled against and broken. So that's what the religions mean and the myths when they say that the demons with the fallen angels rebelled against heaven. Heaven was universal government and the Galactic Federation. And the law of heaven that they broke was universal law, called non-interference and non-interventionist policy. Those people, the reptilians, come from Orion, and after November, Orion is visible right up there. And it was always a good sight to look up at Orion and see that each star was a big, massive cylinder UFO. And that's where they originally came from. I was under the impression that they came from Betelgeuse or from Rigel. Betelgeuse is the star on the left shoulder of Orion, and this is also called the Orion Reptilian Empire, which is led by Draco. Draco are the real leaders of the reptilians, and should really be called the Draco Reptilian Empire. That's what I should say. Draco are another race that conquered the reptilians themselves. The Draco are 9 foot tall. They are albino lizards. The Draco have the strength of many men. They have muscular bodies. They have arms and legs like a human instead of a lizard that lies on the ground. They walk upright. They have a tail. Sometimes it is said that it is spiked. They have wings. They look like the demon Pazuzu from ancient Sumer in Babylon. The wings are in the shape of a cape when they fold backwards, and that's what they're like in the statue. That's it. That is the description I was given, not by them, but after being given leads, searching for it and finding it out myself. There was a triangle UFO that would appear here, which was black, and it would shoot by with black energy around it, and would transform into black energy. They look like black plasma just flying by, the shape of a triangle. And there's also the black triangle UFO, and that got linked to them. So I investigated that, and I investigated Draco. The Draco have conical horns, and the Draco cannot feel the emotional love like the reptiles. What it means is they cannot form light bodies. They cannot draw the energy that our sparks and our hearts and of many organisms on Earth, almost all of them and not all of them, obtain through the emotional love. So people on Earth, and when the creation goes right, evolved by doing acts that bear the intentions of love, that draws energy that is on the same frequency as the creator at the center of the universe, and there's many bubble universes around it, that stays in that energy, light, which is a form of light and energy stays inside of the body in the shape of its field, and that develops a light body for the spark that raises the spark in higher frequency. And when the spark dies, it goes because of the light body, which is above the fourth dimension frequencies, it gets lifted up all the way into the light, and it gets magnetically attracted to the light. The light sends a light beam, sometimes if it's not a tunnel, that magnetically locks onto the light body on its own frequency, and that then pulls it all the way into the light, where it ends up on a corresponding frequency band of the one, and that then they leave their fourth dimensional body behind. When they enter the light, the connection breaks to the body, so people who die, if they go past the light, they cannot come back, they die. And God always says, it's not your time, go back, because the soul must learn love and gather love. And by the way, this energy is returned to God, and God also needs it. He breathes the light in the same way that the black hole at the center of the universe is breathing in stars that annihilates them, and it also releases more material to create more. And when stars are annihilated at the center of our galaxy, the energy is so high, it releases a massive brightness, and that's the brightness at the center of the galaxy that everyone wonders what it is. It's stars being crushed, because light is a transmission of energy. Like breath is a transmission of the contents inside that are released. And so light is the breath of that energy generation system. It will bring in light by sucking it in, like inhaling it, and then release it. And this light energy from God's breath, then goes over the connection from the source to the sparks, and all things, everything has a spark. The leaves of grass, and the trees, and the animals have sparks in their hearts, and so do humans. And there's the strings of light connect everything. That is shown in the near-death experience by the light to people. There's a string of light that connects your heart. There's a spark in your heart, and it's a specific color. It depends on how much frequency, how much light and energy you have gathered in your lives, how much love. That determines the light of your body and its strength. And its strength. As you have more energy, you will have more strength from the fifth dimensional body. And this is very powerful strength that aliens use, and it beats muscles. Why? Because it's the energy of the Big Bang. So imagine forming a body of all the energy that was exploded in the Big Bang. You could crush a wall with a finger when you have a massive amount of that energy, or releasing that energy. And there are light bodies that do obtain that energy. Those are golden colored and light and white colored, which is the intensity of all colors of a massive amount of energy present of maximized to the max. And those are the white light bodies, are the bodies that are at the center of the creator. They're at the center of the singularity, at the center of the spiral of the source, inside of the quasar. And those people are submerged there. They're simply one. So those are one with the mind of God. And those are people like Jesus Christ. The white light beings break off from. And by the way, I saw a cat jump into this place, and a second later, no such cat was there. It was like a fourth dimensional cat. or a very advanced solution. But I saw it with my own eyes very solidly here. There was a solid. And the white light energy, although this energy is available to everyone that goes into the light because they become parts of God, and everyone feels that although they are not God, inside of the one, they are parts of the one and have the full potential of the one. They connected to God, and if they're golden light souls, they have the authority by the one to emerge from the light and transform into the beliefs of the person coming in there that needs to see heaven, such as Jesus or Buddha, or whatever it is that they need to see. If they need to see a paradise to experience heaven, if they need to see a relative, they can provide the image of a paradise and generate it, and it will be very real, like we do right here in third dimension, but with the higher dimensional capabilities, like transparent golden leaves, golden flowers, golden trees, streams made of living water, places to feel like pure, intense love, like the light, because the light is on the same frequency as love. And they can generate this with the energy of the creator, because the energy of the creator is there. If people need to see a relative, they will usually obtain the relative from the source, or they can really just transform into it.